anybody listening to this, and if you are calling YouTube channel just a YouTube channel, you know what? Watch your tone. These guys will come and they will take you by storm. Every media company eventually will become a tech company, or at least a media tech company.
And I was crazy demotivated recently, and I saw one very cliched motivational reel, which most people laugh at, but that reel helped me, dude. And
was it from Raj Shamani by any chance?
There are lots of people who want to see the BeerBiceps team fail. Like, I'm very aware of that.
But that's a good thing, Ranveer.
Yeah.
I would like more people like them, because that's what
a sign of growth.
Yeah, and a sign of growth, plus that's what, because they want us to fail, we will not fail.
Episode number 200 begins with a huge thank you to you all. Y'all have made this possible. It's a 200th episode of the English podcast. Instead of doing a heartfelt solo episode or an episode with my mum like we've done in the past for the English podcast, I thought for episode 200, I want to show you all the real picture. I want to show you all the raw side of running this podcast, running this career. I want to show you all everything that's happening in my life behind the scenes, behind camera, when there's no wax in my hair, when my clothes aren't ironed, when I'm not feeling as fantastic as I'm feeling today. I shot this episode when I was feeling like shit, but I spoke to the man who picks me up from those moments of feeling like shit, Manish Pandey, my brother, and now one of my co-founders. I love you, Pandey Saab. This one's episode 200. And of course, one big thank you and another big request. Make sure you share all these episodes, guys. We've grown because of the love you've shown over the years. We've grown because of all the shares you have helped us with when you share it on WhatsApp, when you share it on your social media. Episode 200. This is our special one. Very raw, very vulnerable, very motivational. Enjoy yourselves. Episode number 200. When we started this podcast, I said that we're going to do 2000 episodes. Mr. Pandey, you are the episode number 200, because people need to know that TRS is not down to one guy. It's down to a team of like maybe 10 people, of which 5 people are in this room.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes from you. So congratulations on 200 episodes.
To everybody.
What's happening? What's up in life?
All good. I mean, if we have to speak about what we are up to, I think we are preparing for, next 2000 and preparing for new things. Most of my time goes in fixing SOP. I mean, Maya and Sanchit,
what is SOP? People don't know what SOP.
Like, it's standard operating procedure. Like, how do you plan how things should happen, right? Yeah. We are putting systems in place. We are putting processes in place so that you don't do things by luck. You do things by design. So,
man, there was one very crazy episode we did recently. It was a solo podcast. It was about how we structured the team.
Yeah.
And this takes me back to the start of the lockdown. We've done some very good corporatized moves for the BeerBiceps startup.
Yeah.
And I think that particular episode is a blueprint for other people to go to and learn from. And it's not got that many views.
Right.
And that's what really kind of almost demotivates me sometimes, that, dude, if someone gave me that kind of content, I would have latched onto it. But the audience sometimes doesn't sync up with the kind of content is useful for them.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying, right? I mean, we also keep hearing from all kind of people like Kunal Shah and Nitil Kamath and all those entrepreneurs who have come on the podcast. Like, brains like Ryan Hoover and Sai Lavangia and all of these guys, right? If you go and see the number of views that Harvard and Stanford have on their YouTube channel, or Y Combinator for that matter, it's way less. Like, why are people not watching that content? It's for free.
But it is damn demotivating sometimes to see that every time we stop putting out Bollywood podcasts or glamorous podcasts, the views drop.
Yeah, Ranveer, and one thing that I and you should agree together, that we have agreed, I mean, off camera we have agreed, that the day we started podcast, we knew that the view game is over. It's quality game that's gonna up, right? That day the competition did end for us, and it was more than okay. Now we are in that whole zone of value addition, education.
Yeah.
So yes, the views might not be too sexy, but at the end of the day, it gives satisfaction, right? Yeah. When you exit the room after a brain bending, interview,
and that's
or a
what
podcast. Yeah,
that's what podcasts have become for me.
Yeah.
It's just a personal thing.
Right.
ठीक है, content बन रहा है, and we have great people working with us. And they have a much stronger vision than probably even you and me do now for the podcast. Sanchit, Shrutesh, Nachi, all these guys.
Ranveer, you know why BeerBiceps or anything that we are doing will grow? is because I'm very happy to say this, that I and you are not the smartest person in the room anymore. We're not the smartest people. I mean, our team is way smarter than us. They are younger and they are smarter. And also, by God's grace, they are receptive to feedback because experience brings something and they listen to us.
I read this. So I was actually having a shit time in my head recently, to the degree where I'm like crazy exhausted, and I was crazy demotivated recently, and I saw one very cliched motivational reel which most people laugh at, but that reel helped me, dude. And
Was it from Raj Shamani by any chance?
No, Raju Bhai. I have a very sexual equation with Raju Bhai, dude. Anyway, Raju Bhai, if you're watching this, you know, my heart is always wet for you. But anyway, coming back to the point, the reel said, there are only two people you need to make proud of in your entire life. It's not your best friend. It's not your co-founder. It's not your parents. It's not your sister. It's not your wife. It is the 5-year-old version of you and the 80-year-old version of you.
Wow.
And I was like, oh.
I think you did share it with me.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep sharing DMs, so yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And that shit stayed with me. I was like, oh shit. Like, if at the age of 5, you know, I go back, I take a time machine and I tell that kid that, oh, you know, you'll be doing these things, you'll be helping, whatever we're doing. I would have been thrilled with it, man. And I think, I mean, I'm far from where I want to reach in life, but if I die tomorrow, or if my career stops tomorrow, even at age 80, I'll at least be proud of my 20s. In terms of did some shit in our 20s.
That's a good place to be.
Let's talk about you, Mr. Pandey. What's happening in your life? Because people see you on podcasts. Your personal brand has grown a lot. The conversation we had last night. Dude, I get so much shit recommended about you across like Insta, Twitter, YouTube. Your personal brand has like gone to another level. People don't know what the entrepreneur in you is doing. They look at you as like a mentor. They look at you as bhaiya, all that. Dude, you're also a hardcore entrepreneur.
Yeah, dude, and I'm a little tired. I keep telling people that, you know, listen, I don't want to be called mentor because random people, associate me with random people's mentor, right? And sometimes I've not done enough for them, right? And to be called mentor who have not really spent a lot of time is a little, like, it's like undue advantage of me being in that space, right? Like, I have not worked with all content creators. I am not India's entire content creation world's mentor, right? I have spoken to maybe 7-8 people. And, but then the point is that you've been put in that, you know, thing because, and you are responsible for that because you're...
I'm a hype man, baby.
I was speaking to Varun recently and I said that, you know, if you have a hype man like Ranveer in life...
My goal was to be a media businessman.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. Do you wish to talk about the whole transition we are trying to do from media to tech?
Why not? Speak about it.
My angle is, over the course of 6 years, 7 years of my career, I've realized my purpose in life, which is just to spread help, to create further jobs, you know, to create opportunity. The direct kind of kinetic energy, as I call it, as in the practical way of doing that is, you have to become rich yourself. You have to have money yourself because money gives you the power to create change, to create jobs, to create further businesses, etc. So there is definitely a chase for money going on in my head. I've also realized that it's not about how hard you work, but it's about who you're working with and what you're working on. So if my purpose is money, I think it's time to move away slightly from media. And I think it's a parallel purpose for you, which is why even with BigBrainco, when we started it, a lot of people question that, what is it, just a YouTube channel? Are you all just doing another YouTube channel? You're calling it a startup? People don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Since a while, people don't know what's going to happen going forward as well. But it's a great example of moving from media to tech.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, I really would like those people to think twice if they are calling that, okay, are you calling YouTube one more startup? Well, hell yes. Because every content creator who have guts to start a YouTube channel has at least mindset of becoming an entrepreneur one day, or has a chance of becoming an entrepreneur one day. 100%. So stop disregarding, you know, people who are starting content, and stop disregarding, oh, you're just a YouTube channel. I mean, you know, back in the day when Shobit Supriya, we speak, right? Old times. We were also, at Joe's Talks also, we were called, oh, YouTube channel hai, matlab, story dalega.
And what's the company worth today?
And imagine, I mean, you know.
we're not putting the numbers out.
We're not putting the numbers out, but yeah, I mean, It is at a good place, and it will definitely go, 100 folds from where it is right now. So anybody listening to this, and if you are calling YouTube channel just a YouTube channel, you know what? Watch your tone. These guys will come and they will take you by storm. And every media company eventually will become a tech company, or at least a media tech company. That's where the money is.
Break that down a little more. What do you mean by every media company will become a tech company?
So, for example, today, what is happening? Today, you're making videos, you're putting it out, and you're getting views. But reverse engineer it, right? Where those views are coming from? Who's watching it? How much time are they watching it? If you back calculate all this, and if you create an algorithm which keeps a track of all of this, this is what becomes a layer of building a successful D2C company. This is one example. This is what will become...
What is D2C?
It's direct to consumer. So for example, if I have to give an example, it's like Sugar Cosmetics, Nykaa. Making product and directly sending it to the customer, right?
Yeah, as in you are a listener of this podcast, you'll be using those products in your real life.
Exactly. Like all the merchandise brands that we see, all of YouTubers and all, they start their merchandise business and all of that, right? Healthcare is becoming D2C. Too many over-the-counter drugs are becoming D2C. So that is one use case. Again, let's say a musician, right? Who's a YouTube first musician, who's not signed by label and any of that. If that musician tomorrow tries to fill in a stadium, this will help, because he or she will exactly know where the fans are, which place is watching how much content, and then go and do performance in that particular time, city or town, right? Where people will come and fill the stadium. So yeah, act smart. That's what will happen.
Yeah. It's time to move to tech. Not everyone can, dude. Like, I think working on Level has taught me about the reality of tech.
Yes.
हर किसी के बस की बात नहीं है tech.
Yeah, and it is too expensive also. Like for example, to hire a good techie today, it's not easy. And that's why all tech companies eventually end up raising funds. Mostly any startup today, they raise fund only for two reasons, right? One, because they want to hire great talent. Another, they want to do exceptional marketing, because you've built a great product, but then you have to do exceptionally good marketing as well, right? What is happening with doing podcast? We are getting to meet great people. We're exchanging numbers with them. They remember us. We remember them. If today I write an email to anybody, I have 1 out of 10 chance that I'll get a reply, right? But as a stranger, if I write it, so basically this is your cold email, So a lot of things are happening. By the way, coming back to podcast, Ranveer, I think I want to speak this out loud and let us discuss this today. That what all kind of podcasts we have, man. Like, it's not just, so the views that we get are on media related. Content creation related and film related and all. But I was just going through the list because, when you called me and you said ki 200 podcast, and I was also taking time to like soak that in, right? And I was thinking in my head, and I called Sanjana and said ki Sanjana, can we put a segment, or can we put like areas from which all we've got podcast, right? Dude, we have podcast from entrepreneurship, from spiritual world. We have podcast from health medicine. We have doctors. We have podcasts from environment, climate change. We have podcasts from film industry, Bollywood, South industry, Marathi industry, all of that. What else? We have podcasts from authors. We have podcasts from historians. We have podcasts from scientists. We have podcasts from astrophysicists. We have that means scientists. Yeah, man, we're so diverse. I don't know if audience, everybody who's watching is discovering all this or not, but I would request with folded hands that please go dig, go and against your likability, go and check podcast. Like the podcasts are like say 45 minutes, 1 hour. But some podcasts, it takes me 3 hours to complete them because I take notes.
And I think that was our logic when we started, that we could have easily spoken about news on the show, spoken about current affairs, spoken about TK topics and made the numbers blow up, views blow up. But the way we built up like the entire library was such that someone watching this in 2040 can also gain value out of it. Where
we have reached, I think again, everybody says that, but trust me, it is for us that we've just started.
And it's not been easy.
It is not.
It's been
I remember
difficult.
You calling me and saying ki 24 hours, only 30,000 views. And I had to prepare myself mentally to tell you that, bro, chill, it'll happen. And then on the way, me, Sanchit and other friends, right? We all have figured out a way to make sure that the older content works so that our money is sorted. So much we've learned on the job. वो बोलते हैं हिंदी में ना, there is a saying called मरता क्या नहीं करता, right? So because when the question comes to survival, you do everything. At the same time, you continue with what you're doing, right?
The good side is that when you enter any room, there is someone powerful who has watched an episode or a bunch of episodes. Like, I know for a fact that we have regular viewers who are in the right places. Let's just say that. There are IAS officers who watch the show. It's been a great career move. Maybe not in terms of views. Someone who's just into the YouTube ecosystem will think that BeerBiceps is almost tanking. But I know what it's done for our business careers and like even our content creators for that matter. Content careers. Since I didn't want to do the show. But my point is, man, it's really not been easy. Like, be it even the lockdown, dude. Like, to even execute those international episodes, we really went through a lot of shit. Like,
I remember I was in Alwar somewhere and you called me and you started crying.
Yeah.
And you started howling and you said, how will we do it? How will we do it? The entire world is shut down. Nobody's meeting nobody. How are we going to do it? Like, and I said, listen, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And in those days, I said, Ranveer, when nothing works, you reboot, right? And you went back and started doing your fitness and this
Solo
and that.
podcast also.
Solo podcast, right? And Solo did good.
Yeah.
Solo did good.
Solo really built out the fan. You know how we used to record that?
Yeah.
So there was no studio, there was no office. You weren't allowed to travel in Mumbai. There was no transport. So I would wake up every morning, drive my car up to Rajas's house, pick him up. He lives about like 20 minutes away. Bring him, set up the equipment which was kept in my house, record how we used to record back in the day, and then drop him off in the evening before the curfew began, which was about 5 p.m. or 4 p.m.
Yes.
It was so stressful to just keep it going. I felt like Mohammad Kaif and Yuvraj Singh in that NatWest final. Oh, just two guys running a 10%, 15% team.
Yeah.
It was so stressful, man. Like, I was dating someone at the time who you know now. And I used to just cry to her all the time. Oh God, what's happening?
Let's not start about your dating life.
Let's start about my dating life, man. In the middle of all these startups, where is time? It's a Saturday evening. I would probably be on a date out at this time.
You already were. And, and then we had to record this. So you had to finish off your date.
Yeah, that's what I'm not liking about my life. The one personality which is unhappy is not liking this lack of personality. Like, tomorrow's Sunday.
Stop pretending you're busy. You're not.
I feel like I am because that thoda 1 hour, 2 hours off I get. I have to work out and all that. That's my me time. And my job in all the startups is creative. In YouTube, I have to think, I have to write.
Yeah.
You need that little me time to just recover.
No, I get it, man. Like when we were also doing that book, right? Then I understood that why you always said that I need some space. Because it's not like writing email. It's not writing business strategy. It takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, when you're a kid, actually not when you're a kid, this only I used to do this shit. You put your finger in your mouth to puke. Like,
okay.
So the writing is like thoughts in your head. And then imagine you want to puke. You feel like puking, but it's not coming. Then you do and like puke it all out. So my free time is my like that's in my free time. All the writing builds up and it's allowed to come out on paper. So all the poems and all you see the romantic poems. My is like the stability and the shanti I get in my isolation.
This is why we don't get views because this
whenever poems start coming up on Instagram, understand I'm not going through a good phase in life and the pain is coming out as poetry.
That I do. You're so predictable now for all of us, at least for all the team that works together, right? तेरे tweet लिखने से we know that अच्छा इसके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. Should we call Ranveer or we should not call Ranveer?
Yeah. I appreciate all the teammates for giving me space.
Yeah,
because guys just understand when I don't want to talk to anybody. And it's usually I'm in the middle of my That's actually effectively what's happening.
The benchmark for 200 podcast is not like going anywhere, I guess.
I wanted to make this the most raw conversation in the world.
Do you sometimes get scared that where will we get all the money to run out of this?
I get that thought and I used to get scared with the thought.
Yeah.
I read a quote in Autobiography of a Yogi. I look at money very spiritually now. I think I'm almost forced to because we're so reliant on money that I look at it as a divine power.
Yeah.
The thing is, money is a toy in the hands of God. So if you put God first and if you just keep working, money will come your way. And this we've seen. This even the boys have seen. As in whenever we are short on money, some big brand deal will come from somewhere.
Right.
So I think there's some higher purpose we're working towards, honestly. Which could just be, we're trying to again create more jobs. We're trying to do a lot of social work. BeerBiceps Foundation, that's another thing that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, too soon to talk about it, but yes. Let's talk about your Twitter. What's happening on your Twitter? Like, why do I get screenshots from people? And people from all strata of life. That, what is Ranveer? And I'm like, Viraj manager hai, main nahi hu manager. Viraj ko bhejo.
I love Twitter as a platform to learn from.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it much as a content creator.
I have fun with Elon Musk's Twitter handle, right? So when he tweets, I reply to him in Hindi, like, Elon bhai, kya kar raha hai? And all of that, right? Like, just like, it's like my version of, 2 o'clock in the night. So, and just out of curiosity, he'd posted a job opening at the Boring Company, that one of the companies that he has. And dude, I went and read the JD and I took a screenshot and I sent it to like all our friends, like all other YouTubers like Raj and Slok and too many people, right? All of them. And I said, bro, ye pad. There was a special mention that be ready to work extra and on weekends because you're working with Elon Musk. And, if you have audacity now, go and talk to him about hustle culture. And, he's one of the richest man on earth. And he's saying that we should work hard. We should. So I don't get it when people talk about hustle culture and toxic culture of work.
I think it's a very small percentage of humanity that's doing this. It's just the privileged kids who are also lazy. As in they're privileged kids who are motivated. These are privileged kids who are lazy. And again, it's a first world problem, dude. Go tell a tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 middle class kid that don't work hard.
They'll say pagal hai kya? Yeah.
I mean, I think Jordan Peterson said this, no? He said that basically what is success? It is the ability to kind of outwork other people. So there is that little amount of discomfort that you're supposed to give yourself. Mm-hmm. That's where growth happens. And again, this whole toxic hustle narrative is against this idea.
Yeah, we are those people. So we are called toxic people for asking people to hustle, work hard.
Yeah.
So somebody called me on Twitter. You're such a toxic guy. You say that you should work this that. I said bye. ठीक है. तू जानता नहीं हम किधर से आए क्या करके आए. So
it's okay.
Whatever.
Dude.
Yeah.
Kids in pain. And
yeah, man. Whatever.
Yeah, you just forgive and you wish the best for it.
Yeah. But Twitter is very, very interesting. It's an interesting place to be.
Let's talk about the YouTube ecosystem. Yeah. I am demotivated about where the platform is going.
Because of shorts?
Yeah. And the first generation of YouTubers is also. There is a site.
Talk about that. Let's talk about first generation of YouTubers. When you say first generation of YouTuber, are you first generation YouTuber?
Yeah.
You're first generation YouTuber.
I'd say Gen Zeros, TVF and AIB. And like Gen 1 is all of us.
Yeah, so like all the guys in the book like leave 1 or 2 and then there are more that oh, I didn't know of a channel called Round to Hell until Bhuvan Bhai told me about it. And dude, such great work. I didn't know of them. Yeah. And I discovered and I spoke to Wasim is one of the guy and I spoke to him and so much is happening.
Yeah.
And they're making 50-minute long content and putting it out on YouTube and Sanchit, they have a lot of views. They have crazy views. Okay, share something from the recent NAS summit. What kind of people you met and what is your... Okay, tell me 5 things that you brought from NAS summit.
They don't look at content creation as the basis of their career.
When you say they, who?
All the creators there, dude. Like, they're all international creators earning big money.
Even Africa?
Yeah, they don't look at it as their long-term bread and butter. They look at it as their long-term fame.
Okay.
And everyone kind of looks at it as a stepping stone a little bit, somewhere in their heart. All entrepreneurial, all thinking of what to do beyond YouTube. Secondly, they're not view-centric. Like I feel India's a very, views kitne aa rahe hai, subscribers kitne hai. They are to a certain degree. Once you need to cross a threshold. Like everyone should have at least 50k followers on Instagram, at least 100k, 200k on YouTube. They want you to cross a threshold, but beyond that, they don't care that much about how many views you're roping in or how many subs you're roping in. It's more about the kind of community you've captured, the value of that community. For example, you can have a small number of people following you or engaging with your posts, but are they high value audiences?
Yeah.
And these guys are earning insane amounts of money. We're talking about like 8-digit salaries and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's beyond $10 million.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, dude, this guy's sitting on 100th the amount of likes I get on Instagram, and his net worth is 1000x my net worth. So I'm like, that was a eye-opening. I was thinking about stopping business and content creation before I went to Dubai. I went there and I realized how much they value Indian content creators who are entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And they were back here saying, no, you shouldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, YouTube entered India 5 years late.
Mm-hmm.
There it's been there for such a long time.
Yeah.
So that ecosystem has matured and all that, and I think the best money-making phase for content creators in India is going to come now. It's not influencer marketing. It's through other means as well. Next, I would say that they look at India as a kind of guiding light in the world of content because we have such a big population that we can do experiments. We're doing such huge amounts of content and quantity that we deliver because of big teams is a lot more than how much a foreigner delivers.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even know things there. Like I made a lot of these Nigerian friends, content creators. I called some of them and I told them that, dude, I think you're doing these things wrong in your strategy. Like one guy was uploading a lot of photos on Instagram.
Okay.
Now it's a zamana of reels.
Yeah, it's a video first.
And he didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's a smart guy. But their culture there is not analytical the way Indian culture is. So that's what they respect about Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the last thing I'd say is you should only do this career if you enjoy creating videos. It's don't do it for the money, don't do it for the fame. All those guys also somewhere they enjoy creation.
Yeah.
It's much more than like if you chase the creation, if you chase the work, money will chase you. So it's very cliched things, but those things got solidified in my head. It's giving me a lot of hope for our future. Building BeerBiceps and all. There is an idea about making BeerBiceps about more people than just myself. I'll be there in all the videos in some capacity, but I want to bring out talent and I want to take BeerBiceps international. I don't want it to just be in India.
There's one thing running in my head, back of the head. I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but I think I must have because whatever comes to our head, we call each other and say this. Like in next 1 to 2 years, I would like our team members to be sitting in different countries.
Yeah.
Like Mayank may be sitting in Dubai.
In Dubai, yeah.
Somebody is sitting in Singapore. Somebody is sitting in Tel Aviv, because so much to learn from that country. Right? So this has to happen. So we... Yeah.
Thak gaya hu, bro.
Those are podcasts, thak gaya hu, bro. By the way, it's not just 200 podcasts. You're 200 on English and how many on Hindi?
Almost
100 plus?
Almost 100, yeah.
Wow. So 300 podcasts.
Yeah. It's I'm saying thak gaya hu, bro, for life. I am little...
That's Viraj's tweet. Thak gaya hu, bro.
I'm a little like, dude, we met this guy called Mansoor Khan in Kunnur. And he's Amir Khan's cousin. He's directed Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak.
Yeah.
He lives outside the township of Kunnur. Ekdam isolated. Almost at the fringes of a forested area.
Wow.
And
like Canadian life.
Huh?
Canadian life.
Yeah.
In the wild.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Like leopards roam around in his compound.
Wow.
He's living in a forest with his wife. Beautiful house. There's nature. 7 p.m. you have to head inside. The moment it's dark, you have to go inside the house.
Wow. Hey, Hans's house type.
Yeah. Exactly. Very similar. And being in nature, he's been thinking, he's been writing, he's been creating a lot. He told me that, man, one thing I realized living here is, since we're kids, growing up in cities, we have always been told that progress is good. And then he's like, okay, what is your human body made up of? What's the building block of a human body?
A cell.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as you grow older, more cells get added to your body.
Yeah.
What if the cells one day decide that nahi, itna progress theek nahi hai, aur bhi zyada progress chahiye after your body's finished its growth? What do you call that? Like extra progress, more than you need of cells. What is that in your body?
I mean, it becomes what? Tissue?
It becomes cancer.
Oh!
Yeah.
Damn!
Yeah. So
damn. Yeah.
And that got me thinking that, ये जो माइकल जॉर्डन मेंटालिटी है ना खुद के दिमाग में कि 6 चैंपियनशिप के बाद बिलियनर बनना है,
5,000 startups बनाना है, bro.
This was a wake-up call.
But are we doing 5,000 startups?
We are definitely going to be a part of 5,000 startups.
Even if we do like 2 good startups, no, we are done.
We've done 2 good startups.
Yeah, I mean...
2 more.
Yeah, 2.
We are doing 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I count BeerBiceps 1, Monkey is 1. Abhi और 2 करने tech में. Level big brain.
Dude, but I mean, Monkey though, I don't know, yaar. I mean, Viraj अकेला खींच लेता है. Ayush is beginning, he's helping. So yeah, I mean.
Just my last games, I think, in business are going to be these 2 tech games. फिर देखेंगे. What do you think of me as a podcaster? Honestly. I think I'm a very mainstream podcaster. And the thing is, somewhere I used to love being kind of a underdog. I was looked at as an underdog for the longest time until I started podcasts. And now, because first movers advantage happened, then now I'm a very mainstream person.
Ranveer, what happens is, in many a times, I think in giving feedback, sometimes I am ahead of time. And then 6 months passes and you call me back and you tell me the same thing that I had told you 6 months ago. But again, in this process, I have learned that maybe sometimes I tell you things way ahead of time. Like, for example, the Nilesh Mishra conversation, right? I should have understood that, yes, you do not relate with that kind of content because you've not lived that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But then later, when you visit places like Banaras, when we go and hang out with Sanchit and Sanchit's friends there, or when we visit places like, when we go to Kunnur, Himachal Pradesh for that matter, we speak to Aman Bhaiya and all of that, right? Then one day you called me like, thank you for introducing to Nilesh Mishra. And I said, what happened? He's like, because of that, I was able to speak with Jaideep Ahlawat.
Yeah. 100%.
And I was like, okay, great. So here now, even I am learning that now while I give you feedback, I question myself that is it the right time for this feedback or not? If it is not, then I hold myself.
People underestimate how much of podcasting is the podcaster's own personal life ka growth.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of almost pressure, dude, being in that situation. The only way you can sustain yourself as a podcaster is if you're growing constantly in your personal life.
Yeah. And something that I am a little happy, not very, very happy, but little happy about is about your spiritual growth. And now, and the reason why I'm saying now is because now you've stopped speaking about it a lot, right? Because when you know little, you speak a lot. But when you actually know it, then you hold your thought and then, wait, maybe we should not speak about it, right? So how you used to put spirituality a lot, now you've, thoda bahut got down. And now also because when we want to speak about it, we get an expert. Like we get Amog Leela Prabhus of the world.
I think the older you grow, the more you learn,
Yeah.
and the more you feel that you yourself are stupid.
Exactly. And then you don't speak about it. Like imagine 1 year ago, everybody used to be, it's like autobiography of Yogi Padho.
Yeah.
We need to understand kisko recommend karna hai aur kisko nahi karna hai, right? So yeah, that also I think podcasting has just helped us grow, man, as humans. Right?
Yeah, best career decision. I also feel that the best of our podcasts are yet to come. As in,
I'm sure. Like, the other day when you were talking that, what does it take to get a Joe Rogan on the seat and speak to him, or Tim Ferriss? I think if we keep doing what we are doing, one day we will get them, yeah. And let's manifest it. Let's manifest that we get LeBron James here, we get whoever, we dream of. We didn't have an elaborate discussion. We didn't have that luxury of 3 hours with him, right? But one day it will. Yeah. Either by becoming too good that they would want to come, or by make a lot of money and go and say ki, aapka fees kya hai? Bolo aa jao podcast pe types.
There's one dude who we've brought on the show who I respect a lot. His name is Aman Dhattarwal. Okay. And
Yes.
he has very good intent with his business.
Yeah.
He's in the education space. But what I love about him is he's extremely incisive as a businessman. Very, very practical.
And too young. He's very young.
That's the other angle.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, I'm looking at him as a pure business mind.
Right.
I asked him, what do you think the game in podcasts is? And he's like, whoever gets to that 2,000, 3,000 mark is the actual winner in this podcasting game. That's the actual game. That can you have a huge library?
Yeah.
This is
something for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Something for everybody. It's like a massive library where you enter and you have some book that you will like, some podcast you will like.
My point is that this is an extremely sustainable way of doing content. It's very shant, calm. As long as I'm thrown the right guess, I know I can ace it. Which brings me to Bollywood podcasts, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy difficult.
What's happening?
Crazy difficult to get.
Yeah.
They only become available. This is a Bollywood culture thing. Every industry has its own culture. They only become available when their films are being released.
Yeah.
While you're doing the podcast, the entire management team is standing behind the camera. They don't allow you to talk openly about all topics that you want to talk about. They give you a time limit. So people underestimate how difficult it is for the podcaster to actually carry a conversation through.
Right.
And in the comment section, people say 1,000 things that, why weren't you yourself? Why didn't you have this conversation? Of course, I want to have the longer questions. I've done enough podcasts to know what constitutes a good podcast. But you need to know that there are other challenges that are happening to even execute those, or even cricket for that matter.
Yeah.
Or even say, kal jaake, if I want to talk to someone who's extremely reputed as a business person, it's not easy having those conversations.
No, I mean, extremely not. And when I read through, so my favorite thing to do is read through comment section, right? And I read through comment section and I write, and then people say, isko leke aao, usko leke aao. And I'm like, cute. Tere ko kya pata kya jata hai, right? To even how much, thank God we have people like Viraj and Parul and Amira, Srutesh type of people who are like.
It took Viraj 2 years to get Priyanka Chopra, who was our 13th episode.
Yeah, and guess whose podcast she came after mine.
Yeah, like people underestimate the difficulty of the behind the scenes things.
Yeah.
I am a little cynical about it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I've had detailed discussions with Zakir Bhai about this. Zakir Khan, I asked him that, do you think it'll survive? Do you think it'll die? His answer was, it'll totally depend on who's creating content. Will the people be able to make fantastic gripping content? Yet to be seen.
Yeah, and in all of this, bro, I also feel for the Bollywood artists or the sports people, right? Because they have been given 2 days and they'll say that speak to 500 people. Now you tell me, how will that actor, actress or the sports person speak to so many people and make different conversation? Like it will take a mental toll. Imagine like a recent one, Shahid Kapoor. Shahid Kapoor wanted to speak to you. He really said कि भाई बैठ तेरे साथ 2 घंटा बात करना है, लेकिन उसके उधर maybe management खड़ा है, बोला कि नहीं.
Maybe his physical energy only wasn't there.
Yeah, man. And trust me, that guy in his head is thinking कि यार मेरे को ना रणवीर से करना है और बात. Like when will I get an opportunity? So they are also hunting. Some people are hunting for opportunity. Like, and what kind of makes me what restores my faith in what we are doing is when people from cricket and Bollywood and sports, they say that this is one of the best conversations I've had. And that's not make up. They're not making it up, right? Why would they just say for us, right? Because it's a good thing for us. But then they say that this I want to do. This kind of conversation I want to do.
Then give me more than 45 minutes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's an appeal to all the managers and everybody. If you're watching this, right? Please give us time.
Yeah. Like somewhere I feel like a Indian cricketer who's just played domestic and who's not being given a chance to play international, though I know I can kill it there.
Yeah, or talented person like Praveen Tambe who gets chance.
Yeah, it is something like that, dude. Which is why there is another angle to podcasting in this country. There is a reason you can't do news-based podcasts. This country currently is going through a very divided state of mind. And if I put out my opinion, no matter where it lies on
you
the
will be some
spectrum,
wing.
Yeah.
Some left, right, center. Somebody recently called me a centrist and I didn't know what that was. And I said, ये centrist क्या होता है? बोलता है नहीं आप ना left भी बात नहीं करते हो right भी. मैं बोला मैं सच बात करता हूँ.
Yeah.
तो उसके लिए centrist बोल दिया मुझे. मैं बोला ये क्या है?
People, I think right now where India is at politically are not ready to accept any opinion.
I think India is going through a change, that phase where, I derive a lot of my examples from wildlife. So at a point when that the snake leaves its skin, I think we are in that phase as a country. I think, I might be wrong, but this is what I think, that we are going through a massive change and I'm very bullish for the future of our country. Very, very bullish.
Do you think I see again, man, we've been doing podcasting for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yesterday we released a fantastic episode with Amog Leela Prabhu on the English channel.
Yeah.
30K views in 24 hours.
Yeah, man.
After 3 years of podcasting.
Yeah.
I know that this will also swell up over time. As the more you release good content, it will swell up over time.
Yeah.
When we started the Hindi podcast, we were getting 6K views in 24 hours. And all. Those same episodes have crossed 1 million views now.
Yeah, because we go and do some cheat codes. We have gaming cheat codes for this as well. Me and Sanchit.
As in it's organic views.
Yeah, organic. This is all organic, no paid.
Yeah, but there are ways, the SEO games we play to like pull it back up. But it just, and we upload the vlogs, for example. People, especially I know that there are lots of people who want to see the BeerBiceps team fail. Like I'm very aware of that.
But that's a good thing, Ranveer.
Yeah.
I would like more people like them because that's what
a sign of growth.
Yeah, and a sign of growth, plus that's what, because they want us to fail, we will not fail.
Yeah.
We get a reason to get up in the morning because we have to work hard, not to prove them wrong, but to tell ourselves that, listen, we are not going to fail.
I think that's what pisses off people. I was discussing this with Viraj, that people don't like the spirit across the ecosystem we built, that how these guys are so motivated, how is everything working for them.
We meditate, man. Go meditate. We meditate, simple.
But honestly, I feel for example, the vlogs, I know that if I put a girl in the thumbnail with me, it's automatically going to get more views.
But that's how the psychology is, right?
Yeah. It's just thumbnail psychology.
Like the recent vlog that you put with Shahad, your friend. And I watched that vlog, right? I watched it, while you guys were editing it, and dude, too much respect for you and even you guys edit, right?
Respect for Sanchit and Akshat.
Yeah, man. And even you, like when you tell me now that you don't get it, I have to be on the edit table. So I'm like, listen, just delegate, right? Then sometimes when you give those feedback, yahan ye nahi, ye karo, I think that feedback only you can give. Today I was talking to a friend of mine, Angad. We met for a lunch before I was coming here. And he was telling me कि सर जो आप करते हो इसकी कंपनी क्यों नहीं बना देते, like helping all these YouTube friends and whatever. And I said नहीं कर सकता, is because what works for Ranveer will not work for Ankur, will not work for Varun Bhai, will not work for Bhuvan, will not work for Slok, will not work for, like, it's a different thing, right? And when I see their back end, I have to think according to that.
As them also.
As them, right? And it's difficult. And that is why with a lot of respect, I say that I cannot work with everybody, right? And you keep telling me that, you know, what is that word you use? Become exclusive.
They don't know what my life is behind the podcast. They don't know what my life is behind the screen, which only my guys know who are in this room. They know the pace and the demand.
And it is not to tell it that, you know, we are busy or something. Yeah. It's actually things are happening. And we don't even know if, is it gonna like convert into something, or is it, I don't know. Tomorrow it will.
Are we on the brink of big failure?
No, yeah, exactly. Maybe tomorrow it might look like such a waste of time, right? We should have done that podcast maybe, right? That would have been more productive. But we don't know. But you have to do things in life to get to know. I mean, nobody knows what the result is. Even if I can meditate and, you know, visualize it, but it's spiritually wrong to kind of look into your future and, you know, define today.
Do you think I'm a busy person? You talk to a lot of people from different industries. And you know me like inside out now. Do you think I'm busy?
Sometimes you are, sometimes you pretend to. I'm an honest answer.
No? Yeah. Okay. And when do you think I pretend to?
Let it be.
No, say it. Huh? Say it.
Because you're a very moody person. And you have that ADHD in you, right? I mean, you are a typical case of ADHD. Our Shobhit is also like that.
Yeah.
Joe Stocks.
I was diagnosed with when I was a kid. Like there was a doctor who
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, but I have met a lot of people with this. And by the way, the short content, it's creating ADHD people.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It's creating ADHD people, right?
Yes.
I mean, attention span is just gone. You want to know everything in 30 seconds, everything in 60 seconds. It doesn't work like that. That's why I have a lot of respect for Varun and Ankur kind of people. Varun started a podcast. His name is Take a Pause. The name of the podcast is Take a Pause. Yeah. Imagine.
I don't know, man. Nachi, why don't you step inside the frame? Come inside. This is Nachiket, my manager, my operations head, does a lot of stuff at BeerBiceps.
Give a cricket reference.
Okay. He is in 83.
Yeah.
He is both like the opening bowler, opening batsman, and he is that the manager of the team. He's all that
Hyderabadi speaking.
Yeah. Come down. So what have you picked up about the truth? Leave some truth bombs on this episode.
The truth bombs are, he has been the busiest where I've seen him, but definitely he's going to get more busy. But after 5 years, people will understand why everyone was busy. And after 5 years, I don't think, especially people those who are working hard, will ever be busy in their own life. Because
okay, I'll ask the right question to Nachi. How hard is to get a signature or an OTP sometimes?
Yeah. No, give some reality. What's it like living with me? What's it like working with me?
It's difficult. We have to understand the zone he is in. So I let him be in his own zone. Maybe I have to get a OTP 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll get it at 12 a.m. in the night. So throughout the day, I have to understand what zone he is in. Then understands it for some time. Then he's like, we'll do it 1 hour later. Then 1 hour converts into 3 hours. But we understand genuinely what he's going through and we'll support him and the team, whatever. And that's basically our job to do, to look after the team and to ensure all the creative people are in their own zone.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you. This is a team of creatives. And I think you're a back-end person who manages creatives very well. Like you understand the creatives zone. You also work with Noah, Manish Bhai for that matter, who I also consider creative, by the way. Yeah. He's got back-end strength, but he's also creative in his heart. What's that vibe like? You're a normal engineering student, a grad. Lots of people want jobs at BeerBiceps. Break it down honestly.
Okay. So being honest, it's difficult to work with creative people because most of the times I feel creative people are unstable in their own head. Like if a problem is not very small, I think they'll make it so big. I was like, bhai, isko thoda aise solve kar lena. Kyun itna zyada hawa bana raha hai? But then again, it's difficult because I understand I've been with like too many creative people. So I understand they need their own zone to create things. So it's difficult at the back end. But again, that's why we are here to look after creative people. So that's our job. And yeah.
Okay, cool. And just give an input on. Okay, what have you learned about me after working with me, specifically me?
Okay. I've learned how to be more organized. Then I've learned how to look at the future. Like right now, Ranveer is here, but I think mentally he's again like 2 years later, मैं ये startup बना दूंगा. Then he sees more business opportunity. Like exactly what he mentioned on the podcast, when we shifted here and like 3-4 days, he's like, bro, we have to figure out like another space. Maybe in the same building or somewhere near around where you guys can stay. Then we can create like more over there. So it's that.
Yeah, and again, I'm trying to switch off out of the progress. I've got a lot of man ki shanti in this house. Thanks for making things happen.
Thank you.
And okay, one last question to you. Actually, Manish, you want to chip in before my last
Yes.
question?
No,
Do you have
no.
any questions?
I mean, because Nachi is in frame, right? He has one of the most difficult jobs. Nachi and Mayank both.
Maybe one last question to you. What is it actually like working at, I won't say working at BeerBiceps, I think you're a part of the ecosystem, all 4 startups. You do little bit of work in Level, little bit of work in Big Brain, BeerBiceps. You've done work in Level also. So what is this ecosystem like according to you? And it's your first job out of college?
Yeah.
How old are you? Introduce yourself.
So I'm 22 right now. I'll turn 23
Really?
in June. Yeah.
He works like a 30-year-old.
Yeah,
He does.
First of all, I was an engineering graduate. I was working in my college, and when I entered here, I saw this is like purely people skills and all. After seeing Ranveer, you can't be the person who'll just chill. If you see your captain putting in that extra effort, you can't just sit like, हाँ मैं थोड़ा chill कर लेता हूँ. I've seen him work hard, even hardest like anyone in the team, and that's what motivates me to work more because my captain is working more, so I have to work even more.
Let me just say, I feel like I am Ganguly and this Dhoni sitting right here. So Ganguly is going to retire and Dhoni will have to like take over captaincy. But I'm honestly looking forward to that. Like these guys are all 99 born, 2000 born roughly.
Yes.
Waiting for them to hit their prime,
Right.
so-called at 26, 27. I think, and this is what we discussed internally here also, that you guys have to carry the ship forward when we become hippies in Goa 5 years from now.
Rishikesh somewhere. Aman bhai, kahan pe ho hamare?
I'm waiting for that phase of my life.
Yeah.
Like I love whatever we're building, having fun doing what we're doing, but I feel that this entire ecosystem is going to be built through these people.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not easy to get a job here. Like, the amount we filtered even for Nachiket, the amount we filtered for any position we have now, we get a lot of inquiries from all over the country.
Yeah, I mean, hiring is one of the toughest things. Like we were recently, looking for, you said that you need a writer.
Yeah.
And I think we've not yet figured it out, right?
Yeah.
And it took us a lot to crack down on a graphic designer. Shrutesh, for that matter, a new addition. I mean, before we spoke to Shrutesh, we spoke to so many people.
And we wanted that position filled for a year or
Yeah, and on top of that, we were 500% convinced on a person, and then we put it because you want to look, because it's a creative thing, so you would like to kind of check it once. It is not from ki nahi wo approve karega to hi hoga. It's not about that. It's about because you know who you want, right? You know your players.
I like it.
One thing I would love to highlight about this organization here, the mindset matters more than the skill set.
Yeah,
100%.
So,
Same boring company. Go read boring company's job description. Whoever wants to work with BeerBiceps.
correct.
Be very honest. People often, when we bring you guys on, bring Sanchit on screen, bring you on screen, whoever, people assume that we are forcing you to say these things.
No, not at all.
Like what's just talk about your own individual career. What's your outlook?
Yeah.
And do you think it was the right place for you? We know it's not the right place for everyone. This is not an easy place to work at, for sure.
Yeah.
But what about your own career? How do you look at like your current state of mind? Just be very honest. Even highlight the bad things about working here.
So obviously I won't say it's a bad thing. It's just that at times you have to compromise with your own social life, and you have to keep your phone always on. Like you can't keep your phone on silent mode. You can't keep your laptop away. You have to be available throughout. But the highs is I love Ranveer and I love the team. That's why I can put in more effort, and I believe in the vision that we want to work for. And I know Ranveer as a person, and Ranveer wants to give it back to the team.
Yeah.
If he's thinking about himself being a billionaire, he wants other people at least to be millionaires. Otherwise, he's not going for it. That's the mindset he has. And when he tells that to us, that is what encourages us to work for him and with the team.
Appreciate it, my man. There is Ubuntu mentality here. What is Ubuntu? We'll make lots of vlogs about it.
Yeah, few things, right? That entire team has learned, right? I mean, what happens is when you speak to a lot of creative people and teams of creative people, they are unorganized. And they are unorganized, I guess, for the right reason. I mean, maybe it takes that, right? But here, we are creative. At the same time, we follow SOPs, we follow calendar. Everybody blocks everybody's calendar. We run on Excel sheet, right? We do tracking. We do a lot of stuff. We do data stuff. Like many a times, you don't connect with those things. I mean, you particularly. But then the team knows, okay, you stay out of it. We'll do our stuff, right? So there are many things that the team does, and you don't even know it. And we don't want to tell you. Is because it's none of your business. I mean, do your shit.
Yeah.
I mean, get people and talk to them.
I was just feeling very satisfied when I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had a conversation, I think, with Sanchit. I told him that, dude, I don't know what the motivation is at this point. Like, I don't, there's a movie called Rocky 3.
Yeah.
The premise of the movie is that he becomes a champ, beats a lot of people, loses his bite. And then he actually loses the championship and then he has to win it back. He has to get his bite back. That's the whole premise.
Yeah.
And that's not a very popular sequel of Rocky. People usually talk about Rocky 1 or Rocky 4. 3, not too many people talk about.
Because it's too raw.
Maybe, dude. They show sadness. They show a down, like losing the championship.
Nobody wants to see failure stories, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem, na? People like glorified stories and all, but failures have lessons of its own, right?
Like I saw it when I was 12, man, and it scared me for life because somewhere, even as a 12-year-old, I knew I'll get success. I knew I was hardworking, even as a kid, that, okay, theek hai, agar mehnat karunga na, I know success will come my way. But this is an important lesson that once you're successful, what the world considers successful or what you consider successful in your heart, learn how not to lose it also. And earn it every day. So I think that's the mentality that these guys also have, be it Sanjana, Sanchit, whoever. They earn their success every day. And that's where the sports mentality comes in.
Right.
When we moved in here, I was telling Sanchit that maybe I'm losing my bite. I don't know. And I meditated. And the question I asked in my meditation was, what should my motivation be at this point? I meditated for like an hour. At the end of it, I just saw the team's faces. Like at this point, do it for the 22-year-olds, 21-year-olds in your team. Yeah. Because money is done, dude. Fame also to a large degree is done.
Yeah.
Things are good. At this point, it's what Nachi said, that we'll become $1 billion worth company. But a lot of people with us have to become millionaires.
Yeah.
But to sustain themselves, it's not easy. They are living not a normal life as 22-year-olds, as 21-year-olds. But I appreciate that.
Yeah. And guys, I mean, when we say $1 billion, it is what it is, and it is a metaphor for, becoming kind of a going to the next level, right? It's not money-wise $1 billion only.
Yeah, like aim for the moon, and even if you miss, holy shit, you're in the sky.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it, man. Good podcast, good episode 200.
Yeah.
Any signing off notes, Mr. Pandey?
I mean, signing off note is just wanted to say that we've just begun. Watch out, crazy guests will come. From all walks of life. I keep reading comments, so I'm watching all the recommendations. Just wanted to put it out there. It's not easy to get the guests. I mean, it's very easy for come and comment that, okay, get Naval Ravikant, but it is difficult, right? A lot of work goes behind it, but yeah, because we have started, it's our job, so we'll do it. We'll get it.
My man, Mr. Pandey, thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll say thank you after we have achieved some goals.
Yeah, whatever.
It's rare that I say thank you to you because we're always batting together and the match is not done. But
you know what I love about this conversation today? In my last podcast, I think I dominated the conversation. Here, we both spoke. So I'm just living my life. Batting and hitting those balls. Yeah, it must be for Soho House time for you.
No. Now it's time for a VC meeting. So see you later. You have khana. I will pitch to investors.
Go make money.
See you.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
That was the episode for today. We recorded it about 4 days ago when I thought my career was going to come to an end, when I thought that I'm not capable of doing anything more in my life, when I thought that I'm tired. And I slept well over the last 4 days. And now I wake up like this, back to feeling creative, back to feeling motivated, back to feeling loved because of you guys. Episode 200 is still just the beginning. Lots more episodes to create, lots more podcasts to release, lots more fantastic people to learn from. I request you to only send us more love. Only send your friends more shares and links of this podcast. TRS is growing because of you. This is Ranveer signing off from episode 200 of the Ranveer Show. Really 200 episodes. Still feels like we're on episode number 12. But lots more coming your way. That's what I promise you. Every episode will add value. And with every episode, hopefully I'll keep improving as a podcast host as well. Looking forward to episode number 250 and episode number 300. Booyakasha!